Even though this award is named after Thomas Jefferson, it was created as a tribute to those who taught Jefferson when he was a student. So, in the spirit of this award, I'd like to use my 3 minutes here today to honor the 3 teachers who influenced me most when I was a student. All 3 actually taught me quite early in my academic career, when I was in high school, in fact. 2 of these 3 exemplary teachers are themselves William and Mary alums, and all 3 are here in the audience today. Tom Fay, William and Mary class of 1968, taught me Spanish, and the skills that he imparted to me have been as useful to my subsequent career as anything else that I have learned in my life. At first glance, this statement may surprise some of my colleagues. After all, of the various primary sources that I've consulted in my research as an historian, none have been written in Spanish. In fact, it may even come as a surprise to Mr. Fay himself to hear that I'm using the skills he taught me primarily for the purpose of translating ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs. But Mr. Fay taught language as if it were a kind of beautiful architecture built of clauses and modifiers. This structural understanding of language gave me a decided advantage when I began to translate difficult primary sources as an historian. Bonnie Fay, William and Mary class of 1970, taught me English literature and creative writing. But in another level, she also modeled for me creative teaching. No one has ever designed assignments with more creative flair than Mrs. Fay did. Her assignments brought text to life by combining them with the visual and performing arts. For those students in my courses who have particularly enjoyed our various group work assignments, engaging historical texts, you owe your thanks to Bonnie Fay. Last, but certainly not least, there is Debbie Godden, who also taught me English literature during my high school years. When I tell you that Mrs. Godden was an enthusiastic teacher, I mean this in the fullest ancient Greek sense of the word. Enthusiasm as almost a kind of spirit possession. There were moments in Mrs. Godden's classes when you sensed from the tone of her voice and the energy with which she darted around the room that she was telling you something of tremendous importance, not for the exam, but for the world and your place in it. I've tried to emulate Ms. Godden in my own teaching. On the evaluations that students have written for my courses here at the college, the word passionate appears with some frequency, so much so that my wife and I have a running joke that passionate is the William and Mary students' polite euphemism for crazy. But I'd like to think that the students here are also reacting to some of that spirit that Debbie Godden passed on to me. Now, you may have noticed that none of these 3 exemplary teachers instructed me in the specific subjects that I teach and research today. Ironic as that may seem, it highlights the value of a liberal arts education, one that prepares us for the kinds of opportunities that we haven't already imagined for our lives. The liberal arts are, in short, liberating. Thank you.